What's up, everybody? I'm Chase Lee, and welcome back to another movie review. And the movie I'm going to be reviewing right now is Beautiful Boy. Now, this one comes from Amazon Studios, and it's directed by Felix von Groningen. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And it stars Timothée Chalamet as Nic Sheff, who is battling drug addiction. He's really addicted to hard drugs such as heroin and meth. And, of course, his dad, played by Steve Carell, David Sheff, is trying to make sure he does not go off the deep end, so to speak, and really just try to get his son back to the way he remembers him when he was a kid and before drugs took over his life. Now, these characters are based off of real-life people and based off of memoirs written by each of the gentlemen, I believe. I believe this movie is based off of two perspectives from Nick and David. And so it also stars Mara Tierney, I believe is how you pronounce it, and of course Amy Ryan. They both play Mara being played the stepmother. I'm losing my mind. And then of course Amy Ryan playing the mother of Nick in the movie. So, going into this, I was expecting a lot. I love the trailers. I love Steve Carell when he breaks out of that comedy boundary and goes into drama. Foxcatcher is one of the best things he's ever done. An absolutely terrifying performance. And of course, Timothée Chalamet is a rising star, so I will watch anything with him in it, especially after the success last year of like a Lady Bird and Call Me By Your Name. The kid's on fire, so I'm going to watch whatever he does. So the trailers were showing me that this was going to be a tour de force in acting and really have a deep emotional core to these characters, and you want to feel for them, and you just want to kind of reach inside that screen and help them. But you can't. You got to sit there and watch it. So those are the only two things I was looking for. And to be fair, this movie does have great performances and a somewhat emotional core thanks to the performances. But the problem with this movie is its editing. This thing is edited to shreds. Now, if you want to make your movie nonlinear, I totally get it. You want to do something out of the ordinary. You don't want to go linear. You don't want to go from point A to point C in linear fashion. You want to go to point A for a little bit, then go to point C, show the end of the movie, then go back to the middle of the movie. Do something crazy and whacked out like that. Go for it. If it works out really well, I will always commend people that want to do a nonlinear story just because it makes it a little bit more interesting, and it kind of spices things up a little bit when you see 100 plus movies a year that's all basically in linear form. It's nice to see something like that. So I have no problem with the actual concept of a nonlinear structure, but this movie does that, and it goes back and forth, and sometimes it'll go way into the future, then go way back into the past for 20 minutes, and then kind of go into the middle of the movie, and then go to the end. It's just, there was no flow to it. It just seemed like it was random. It was awkward. It was so frustrating to watch. I get what they were trying to show, show when he was a kid and he was innocent, and then show when he's older and he's hooked on the drugs. I get what they were going for, but I just think for the film purpose and playing out as a film, it was messy. It was confusing. We got one title card that gave us a time placement. Other than that, there were some parts where I was legitimately confused, and maybe I'm just dumb. I don't think I am. I think I can follow movies pretty well, but this one just kept jumping all over the place, and I was like, okay, so this is before he went on his first recovery, or second. I couldn't really tell, and so that was confusing. But the real issue with this nonlinear structure is when you have this really meaty scene with some really intense dialogue and performances, you want to get hooked emotionally. You want to feel for these people as you are watching them. But if you show that meaty scene and then you switch back to when they were young and then go back to something 20 minutes from now to where you just, kind of left off, that emotional intensity is gone. So you almost feel like this whole movie is just void of anything because it's hacked to pieces and you don't have time to invest in anything. So I gotta tell you, I was super disappointed in the overall structure of it because, to be honest, it's not like a really an examinatory type of drug addiction movie. It's very basic. We see the kind of things people go through when they're addicted and stuff, and that's about it. It doesn't really scratch the surface, and I would have forgiven that if it was just a solid movie, because the performances were given 110%. It's just that the director and the editor decided to take those wonderful performances and really just kind of throw it in a blender, and then here we are. There's your movie, and it takes away from all of the pathos of the movie, and it's kind of frustrating because you want to be involved in these people's lives. You want to see them succeed and triumph over their demons, and so the editing is a huge problem, and it's a huge disappointment with the movie. Also, something that was a little bit intrusive was the music. The music in this film was quite distracting, and some of it didn't even make sense for the scene that it was happening in. And I was like, "What is this? Like, it doesn't fit. It's so random that it was almost like they were just running out of time. They had to throw something on the music track, and it's just." So yeah, music was a huge wasted opportunity. So was the editing, and guys, if you can't edit your movie properly, then your story is effed. And this is a storytelling art form. So as much as I like the performances, and it's nicely shot, there's some really nice shots going on here, really showcasing the city or getting really intimate with some nice close-ups. That's not the problem, visually and performance-wise. It's all down to the editing and even to the music to some extent. And I would even say as a minor complaint is that I get why she wasn't in the movie because she's not really in their lives that much, but Amy Ryan was barely in there. I mean, she had a purpose, obviously, because she was the mother, but she didn't really have anything like to her role that made me go, yeah, we needed to see the mother. Or if you're going to show more of the mother, that's fine, but add more scenes with her. It just felt like she was shortchanged a little bit, and I don't know, it felt like, the mother was a big, important part of Nick's life. I feel like there should have been more scenes with it, but whatever. So I don't absolutely just hate this movie. I think there's redeeming qualities. It's just that the overall structure of this movie is so haphazard that I can't even recommend it, but I will barely dip it below average because I don't think it deserves to be in the D's, but because Steve and Timothy save this movie. They do. And even towards the end of the movie, I was actually invested during the last 10 minutes of it, but then at that point, I wasn't invested for 90% of it, so, you kind of lost me there. I'm sorry if you have a powerful ending. It doesn't justify a really crappy kind of second part, and then for the first act, it's abysmal. So I'm gonna barely dip below a C. I'm gonna give it a C minus. So that's what I thought of Beautiful Boy. Extremely disappointed. I was expecting a whole lot more, but it was kind of a headache to watch at some points. I get what they were going for. This did not come through properly. I don't know if it would have been told better if it was linear. I don't know. We'll never find out. But C minus for me for Beautiful Boy. But what did you guys think of Beautiful Boy? Please comment in that place right below my face and let me know. And I'm Chase Lee, guys, and that is another movie review. And tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.